Mag of Cascadia, checking in, speaking out into the ether. Have another story for you guys. It's always interesting to me how often this kind of banter and these kind of subjects come up in just regular, everyday dialogue. Was talking to my mother the other day. God bless her heart. Wonderful woman. Love her to death, you know. But we were having a conversation yesterday about a house that my parents just sold. Used to be my grandmother's, and she passed away last year. Rest in peace, Granby. And my mom informs me that a woman that she has known for many years is a good Christian woman in her eyes, you know, how she really undercut her and kind of screwed them out of a bunch of money in this real estate deal. And this woman is a non-white person. And my mom was just so, you know, shocked and surprised and had her feelings hurt. Couldn't believe that this woman would do that. And I just told her straight up, you know, I've been trying to be, you know, more wise with how I speak to my family about this kind of stuff, but also not, you know, back up an inch, not back up one tiny inch, and hold my position and really show them and explain to them and tell them, you know, what the hell is really going on, and how important it is that we as a people, as a, you know, people that have a unique interest, a collective interest as an identity. You know, I just told her that we got to stop being surprised when non-whites choose their people over us. You know, to the modern kind of Gen Xer boomer American type, Western type, as offended as they would be if you said, hey, I am gonna choose my people over these other people, I'm gonna choose this person because they're the only white person here, I'm gonna choose them over the others, not solely on that fact, but that's with a primary, you know, that's kind of at the forefront of my mind, is helping my own people out. So I'm gonna pick this person over all these non-whites. You know, white people nowadays, the boomers now, they would be totally just distraught at this. They would be so offended that you would do that. So it just follows and makes sense that, yeah, the boomers are gonna do the same thing towards the non-whites who, you know, even though they know them and they've known them for years and they're these good Christian folks and, you know, all this stuff, blah blah blah, they're still offended that someone would pick their people over them, that they would have some kind of in-group preference. And I just told my mom, like, you got to stop being surprised by this, and you have to realize that this is the game that the world plays. This is the way of the world. No matter how many, you know, gay Facebook slogans you think are super witty and smart and correct and right and whatever, you have to realize that that's not how the world works. It's not a meritocracy. It's not just, you know, anyone can come here and be an American as long as they adhere to these ideas. It's silly. And it's the same with, you know, like this idea that, oh no, we can just not act as a group. We can only be individuals, and that's how the world is supposed to work, and it's the better way. And if I do it, you know, everyone else will do it if they're civilized and smart like me, and blah blah. It's like, wake up call, slap to the face, you know. That's not how this world works. And the only peoples that will survive into the future are the peoples that have an in-group preference, and then they have a loyalty to their own. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's nature. I respect other races for choosing their people over, you know, anyone else. You know, that's like, oh, that checks out. That's normal. That's how all people should act. But we, as a collective, you know, white people, have been convinced that this is the paramount of evil, and that we must fight this tooth and nail to the death. It's the worst thing ever. You know, you'd be speaking German. You wish you'd be speaking German right now. Is that what you want? You know, it's just silly. It's just so silly. So that's all I really wanted to say. Just had that conversation with my mother, and you know, I was talking to my brother, my younger brother. I was talking to him the other day, and I was talking to him about how, you know, if we don't start just picking our people over other people and having in-group preference, like, we're not going to exist, man. We're not going to stick around. It's a suicidal ideology. And that's, you know, precisely, once you go down the rabbit hole farther enough, you understand that that's precisely why we are taught all of these things. It is to destroy us and destroy our identity and our culture, and you see it in real time. It's happening right now, and it's pretty mind-numbing, I'll tell you what, just seeing it. But like I've said in the past couple episodes, you know, from my experience, it's, to me, at right now, this stage in my life, it's not worth it to really not contend, but to argue or try to convince people that have a serious, like, religious dogma about all of this kind of stuff, which is most people, you know, really, it's most people. They have these things they adhere to that are just these kind of rules of society, and they don't even know why they do. They couldn't even actually name that they do, even though they are, you know, spouting these ideologies and living by them, you know, and yeah, it's not even worth it. It's not worth arguing with these people. We're gonna just have to let them pass on and respect them as much as we can as they go, and be good and take care of our elders and all that stuff. But we're gonna have to the boomers go. We're gonna have to. There's no sense in bitching about them and hating them and all this stuff. I mean, it's not worth it. It's not gonna help you. And yeah, because I was mad at the boomers for years, man. It was a hard thing to really kind of come to grips with, and even to this day, I still, you know, maybe I'm too hard on the boomers here and there, or whatever. But I just look around at the world that my children are about to grow up in, and I think, why on earth did these people give up a homogeneous society? Why? I mean, it's so beyond comprehensible. That's how I know it's been planned from the very beginning to the very end. Because if you really look at it, and, you know, I heard someone talking today about, we're in this, like, he was categorizing our age as like this postmodern society where we don't really have, like, our history we view from the super zoomed in. So we only see American history, like 300, 400 years of actual, like, you know, history of America, and we look at that as our history. We don't really have this connection to our ancient ancestors. That's why you always hear people say that you know, all these other cultures, like Chinese culture and Indian culture, it's all so much older than our culture. It's so much older. It's all so much older, and I always just think, what the hell is that supposed to mean? It's older. I mean, Western culture is very ancient and has super deep roots in all over the place. It's astonishing, and our culture has undergone so much more change and advancement in civilization so quickly, and all this stuff. So I always thought that was bizarre, but that's what they mean. They mean that their culture has been unchanged, and they view themselves in a modern context. They view themselves as this 5,000 year, you know, history of Chinese civilization or whatever, where we just see us. And so it's kind of like this. We got our blinders up a little bit, when it comes to, you know, just a historical context. And so, yeah, just to go back to what I was saying, I can't believe that these boomers would give up a homogeneous society, and and give up one for a multicultural, diverse society with, you know, just hostile foreigners who, for the most part, it's not all of them, obviously, but for the most part, are just here to use our institutions, to use our wealth, our safe lands, our law enforcement. They're here for all the perks. They don't want to be American. They know they're not American. They know that we are distinct. And they're like, okay, well, I'm not American. I'm Mexican, or I'm El Salvadorian, or I'm whatever. They know that America was founded by white people. It was founded by the English, you know, truly, and all the people from the British Isles, whether it was the Scots or the Irish or the Welsh, you know. That's who founded America, and everyone else knows it, but we don't. We just view ourselves as this, you know, this modern people and this tribeless tribe, this clan without any unison. It's bizarre. It's super bizarre, but that's how we view ourselves. But all these foreigners that are coming here, they don't view themselves like that. They know they're different, and they have a different culture and different agenda and different values, and they're just here to use all of our institutions and basically leech off of our wealth and prosperity, and eventually just take over. And then you know, that is what it is. And this whole concept that everyone talks about with all the protests in LA, they're saying, why are these people waving, you know, Mexican flags? Why don't they just go back to Mexico if they love Mexico so much? Like, why would you come here and wave your flag? You're obviously coming here because Mexico's a shithole, and you want to live in a safer, better place. So you come to live in the white man's land. Why are you flying a flag? You're just dumb. It's like, no, you don't understand their intention. They are trying. They're here to conquer. They're here to take over, and that's what many different foreigner groups, different nations, when they come here, those people, that's what they do. And the modern American has been tricked into this idea that we've always lived in a multicultural society. The whole point of America is if you want to have a good life and work hard and be American, you can come here. That's a totally novel idea in American history. It's super new and a total lie. If you look at the founding fathers of the United States, they're straight up white nationalists. They have the same ideas that I have. You know what I'm saying? They had a very obvious racial consciousness, and they understood many things that the modern man has just unwillingly forgotten. But yeah, it's that those are the people that are actually coming here, and that's what's going on. And to tie it back to the story I told, you know, with my mom and the real estate agent that burned us real bad. I just told her, hey, Mom, you got it. You have to understand that this is how the world works. And if we don't start acting like that as a people, we disappear. And you're seeing it in real time in a rate that's you know, and I don't know how true this is, but I've heard people that I trust talk about it like this, that the migration into the Western world that's happening right now, that's been happening for 30-something years or however long, well, it was way more, actually. Hart-Celler Act was like 65, really, so that was the beginning, so it's fucking 90 years, basically. Dude. It's the biggest, this is what I've heard people say, it is the biggest movement of humans from one location to another in human history. It's unprecedented. It's unprecedented. Is that a word? Yeah, unprecedented. It's never been seen. It's never been observed. It's totally new. It's totally mad. So, you know, I never get to talk like this to really anyone, just like the monologue, but it's super nice to do this, to get this off my chest, and I get to just kind of ramble in all these different ways and what's just been weighing on my mind and my heart as I work. So, yeah, I think that's mostly what I need to say. I could go on and I could ramble, you know, more and more, but we'll save that for another day, I guess. Yeah. Hail the gods, hail our people.